And now, from the Florida Today Information Center, this is the Florida Today Show. A former local high school baseball star answers a higher call. The Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit is nearing opening day at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, and Gardendale Elementary School holds its final performance before closing its doors for good. Hello, Space Coast, and welcome to the Florida Today Show. Today is Sunday, June 9th. I'm Tim Walters. We'll have our top items and so much more, so let's get started. Not many people hear the call from a higher power at a young age, but Benjamin Lennertz did. The 28-year-old newly ordained Catholic priest is a local high school product who went on to play college baseball at Ball State University. But despite having a girlfriend and a passion for baseball, Lennertz decided to give up both to follow the deep-seated love he had for God in his heart. Let's meet Father Benjamin. Benjamin Lennertz says he was chosen by God. The 28-year-old was ordained into the priesthood on May 25th. The following day, Father Benjamin Lennertz preached for the first time as a newly ordained Catholic priest.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
This weekend was really incredible. I remember at the ordination, there's a moment where the bishop is talking with a priest we call the vocations director, and says to him, do you know these men to be worthy to be ordained priests? And I just thought to myself, how could I ever be made worthy, really, to be a priest? Who could? And we have found these men to be worthy. And this raucous applause that rose up from the congregation, and this thanks be to God, that was such an affirmation of that. And it really kind of changed my definition of worthiness. That I'm not worthy because of anything that I've said or done or because of who I am. I'm worthy of this call because God has called me, because He's chosen me. That's it. It's that simple. And His love makes us worthy. His mercy for us makes us worthy.
Father Benjamin moved around a lot in his youth. His father's travels as an Air Force colonel eventually brought the family to Satellite Beach, where Father Benjamin attended Satellite High School from 2000 to 2003.
As much as I moved around, people ask me what my favorite place was, and I always say here, and they ask me why. The beach is kind of a nice perk, but really for me it's about people. And so especially my local community here, and particularly at Holy Name of Jesus Catholic Church, is really the reason this has been my favorite place.
It was at Holy Name of Jesus in Indialantic where Father Benjamin got to officiate his first Mass as a priest. The community, where a decade earlier he was starring as a high school baseball player, now saw him shining in a new role. Later in June, Father Benjamin will begin his permanent assignment at Annunciation Catholic Church in Altamont Springs. But for now, he's just happy to spend a little time in a place that played such a big part in his life.
It's so good to be home. It's that feeling of knowing that I'm home, surrounded by people that I love, and people that love me and support me so much. It's the best.
Well, we're just 3 weeks out from the official opening of the Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Atlantis, the fourth in a line of 5 spacefaring space shuttles, orbited the Earth nearly 5,000 times, traveling 126 million miles in space leading up to its retirement in 2011. We recently got a behind-the-scenes look at how progress is coming inside the structure.
Behind me is our girl Atlantis. She's on display as she would be normally in flight. And it's the first time ever that I think a lot of people are going to be able to see her this close and get a view that is really spectacular. We open on June 29th. We're here a couple of weeks before opening, so we're still under work lights, and as you can hear, there's a lot of work going around behind us as we hit the finish line here. We've got a little bit of everything here. This is what we think. When we came through the design process, we thought, after seeing thousands and thousands of images, as you can imagine, we picked an image that would be that the shot or the view that an astronaut would get as they looked out the International Space Station window as Atlantis was pulling away. And in that case, the view that we really liked, the payload bay doors were open. And in this case, we used a little artistic license. The doors would be open as they normally would be. But typically you wouldn't have the Canadarm extended, but the Canadarm is pretty significant in the whole history of the shuttle and Atlantis as well. So we had that piece, and that's where we've decided that we wanted to present it. Well, I don't think this is a retirement home, but we say this is her next mission. She's in full mission right now, and the mission is to tell the story, as we talked about a little bit, not only about the fact that it's an incredible piece of machinery, 2.5 million handmade parts, and the people that were involved for 30 or 35 years in terms of how this process happened. But her mission is also to inspire the next generation to continue on with future exploration of space. And that's what her mission is right now. And the other two pieces help tell that story. We don't know really what's next in terms of manned space flight. Nobody's absolutely sure. But what we do know is that this shuttle and this shuttle program got us to where we are today.
Well, it's been nearly 2 years since the last space shuttle blasted off from Kennedy Space Center. Thousands of space jobs have gone away, and NASA has been working toward the future generations of spaceflight. One person who has transitioned to a new position has a unique skill set that not many can boast. He knows how to drive the crawler transporter that used to take the shuttles out to the launch pad. Granted, it might be some time before the crawler is needed for a spacefaring rocket, but let's find out what the crawler navigator is up to nowadays, working under a new contract for a different company.
I've been very fortunate to come through all the transition and everything from shuttle now over to the new program and to these mods. My skill set, I think, has been the right place at the right time, and I'm a good engineer. You know, I'm very hooked into the space program. Just like everybody else who worked out here, it's more than just a job. And I'm one of the fortunate ones that was able to stay. We needed crawler transporter engineers at the time. And as things progress, I'm hoping a lot of the people that we didn't get to pick up will be coming back as the program grows and the business grows. And we'll be able to pick up more of those people and support the program as we move forward. Jacobs is a little more lean. Their whole mission's a little bit different than USA's was. You know, USA was there to support a shuttle launch. And USA had, with the shuttle program, we had, I won't say unlimited resources, but we had quite a few. And with the new contracts, it's a smaller contract, and you know, your scope is narrower, and your tasks are more defined. And we're pushing hard to reach our goals and do it with the number of people we have and the resources we have. And that's what you come every day and you do, and you buckle down and you get it done. And two things are happening. Number one, we're doing modifications. And at the same time, you have to keep up with your maintenance because things still require maintenance. With the modifications, we modified the AC power generators. We refurbed and updated the DC power generators, which drives the crawler. All the control systems, the cabling, your instrumentation. Wow, we worked on the tracks, the trucks, refurbed the cabs, a new laser system to dock with. So that's a real quick in a nutshell thing, but that is very involved. Those 5 or 6 systems are very involved in the crawler. I mean, all those are intertwined. They're all integrated into the crawler, so it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and a lot of planning to go do those modifications. Everybody wants to do a good job, first and foremost, because this whole program is going to depend pretty much on how the crawler, because if the crawler doesn't work, you can't move a mobile launcher, you can't move any of the new rocket, you can't move anything. So these modifications have to be done correctly, and they have to be done correctly the first time, because you know the budget now with the sequestration and everything, there's not a lot of second chances. So we have to perform right the first time.
As Brevard County continues to diversify from being a space-heavy employment area, new kinds of businesses continue to trickle into the county. One such new business recently opened in Viera. NDT Artemis is a data storage facility built to ensure a client's digital data will never be lost. How, you ask? Let's find out.
We are currently in our new data center facility, the NDT Host facility in Viera, and off of Holiday Springs and Viera Boulevard. We're very excited about this new facility. It brings a unique capability set to Brevard County and to our organization. It's the only purpose-built data center facility, Tier 3 data center facility in the county that's available to the public for use. The facility is basically a concrete bunker with 165 mile-an-hour sustained wind rating, which gives us a Hurricane 5 wind rating. We have redundant generators that are bi-fueled, so both natural gas and diesel fuel, and it's a perpetual line for natural gas, so they can run continuously if necessary. Redundant internet connections, as well as multi-layered security. So the idea behind this facility is really to build a bunker to house and protect our clients' data systems and technology systems here in the county. So security is paramount for the facility. And of course, you know, Brevard is our core business, but we do expect to grow beyond that in certain verticals. We have opportunities. We have an anchor tenant in the facility, or anchor customer in the facility, Satcom Direct. Satcom is a world leader in satellite communications, has an over 85% penetration in the Fortune 100 space. So we'll have customers from all over the world in the facility, really pretty much from day one by the nature of some of the other customers we already have. So under the floor runs all of our power and the data lines and et cetera, and it's raised 2 feet off of the ground. This space is for future growth, but specifically it's for us to be able to build out custom data suites for customers that have a need to have their own secure 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 square feet of space.
As the housing market recovers, things are starting to pick up again on the Space Coast. One of the biggest areas of growth lies west of I-95 in Viera. For the first time in years, the Viera company is offering new homes on sites being built south of Target near Quest Elementary School. While the price point is high, beginning in the mid-200,000s, it's not stopping people from lining up to get a shot at one of these sites. Here's an in-depth look at what the future of West Viera will look like.
We're standing in Strom Park, which is the first residential community in Village 1. We haven't named Village 1 yet, but which is south of Wickham Road, south of Health First. We're in the midst of, this is the first community that we're actually constructing, but we're planning and designing the balance of Village 1, which is going to be a variety of different housing types, quite a diversity of housing, different types. We're going to have alley-loaded product, you know, similar to what you see in Baldwin Park and Celebration, around the village center, which is a 50 or 60 acre core, you know, just south of the hospital and the medical park. And that's where the apartments and the higher density product would be. And then around the fringes, your density will decrease and you'll get more conventional product, but still have the connectivity and the walkability extended. So you'll have a lot of 2-lane streets that are more connections than you typically see.
Strom actually is slow walk for trees. So something that's a little bit different than some of the communities that you see in Viera is the amount of natural vegetation that you see. We have a lot of mature trees, as you can see behind me here, that we work very hard to save. And we're actually going to incorporate a trail system through there. There's trees behind here that we're saving that are going into a pretty good sized park. So, you know, that's something that's a little unique for this community. What we're trying to do is increase the walkability, so there'll be a lot of trails in here. There's not going to be gates, so that's going to be different from what you've seen in West Viera. It's not a gated community. There are going to be parks in here. We're going to have some sort of water feature, not a community pool, but a water feature, and then playgrounds for the kids. But the green spaces and the walkability and the trail system that we're going to have through this community are going to be a little bit different than what Viera's had in the past.
One of the things that the Viera Wilderness Park does is it buffers the state-owned or St. John's Water Management District-owned River Lakes Conservation Area, which is a 44,000 acre conservation area, and it also buffers the St. John's floodplain, which is well west of the Wilderness Park. Now, that is a tremendous public resource, that conservation area. We hope to work directly with the St. John's Water Management District in a cooperative manner to establish trails that will meander through the Viera Wilderness Park where it's safe to do so, because as I said, agriculture is a key component of the management of this wilderness park. But travel through the Wilderness Park into the River Lakes Conservation Area. And there's opportunities for equestrian use, hikes by students, interpretive educational exhibits.
We're still planning some residential north of Wickham Road, which is going to be traditional neighborhood design, which is alley-loaded product. In the town center area, across the street from the avenue, north of Freedom Christian, about 200 units there, which are like 35 and 45 foot wide lots. And then we're also doing some alley-loaded product north of Publix, with a small retail strip maybe on the corner, just north of the Signal, north of Publix also. And that will come out of the ground before the next residential here. This is really more in the design stage, the balance of this village. And that will probably come out more in 2014, the end of 2014, the balance of Village 1.
In other business news, a little closer to home, Florida Today this week introduced the addition of a new advertising director. Stephanie McLaughlin will bring her expertise in both print and digital advertising to our Space Coast family. The San Francisco native comes to us from Digital First Media, a company that jointly manages operations for Media News Group and Journal Register Company. While Stephanie won't be starting her new job until June 24th, she does need some time to relocate across country after all. She stopped by last week to meet the Florida Today staff. I sat down with her to find out what she plans to do to help Florida Today as we move into the future. Hi, this is Tim Walters with Florida Today, and today I would like to introduce you to Stephanie McLaughlin, who has just been named the new ad director at Florida Today. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you having me here.
Thank you. Well, you're moving here from California, so tell us about your experience and why you decided to move across the country to Florida Today here on the Space Coast.
Great question. I think the main reason that I decided to make the move is primarily that I love newspapers. I've always been in the industry. I grew up in this industry, and I think I see a lot of opportunity here. I've spoken with a lot of people at Gannett, certainly a lot of people here at the Florida Today, and I think what is most resounding to me is the interest in the community, the interest in seeing this part of the community succeed, and really the investment that we're making in the people here in this building, but also outside of it in the community. So, just one coast to the other. I'm very excited about the weather, believe it or not, but I'm excited to kind of learn something new about the East Coast and Florida and see what I can do to contribute.
Well, you'll learn to love the weather around here. I know we all here on the Space Coast have become accustomed to beautiful sunny days most of the year, mild winters, so you'll love it down here.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, newspapers are becoming multifaceted media companies, emphasizing digital and print products. That's playing out. How is that playing out in the sales and marketing side?
That's a great question. I think all parts of our community and really the world in general are shifting to a multifaceted, multi-platform environment. So instead of, pure play, one platform kind of media anymore, we're starting to invest as readers and as advertisers in the multiple ways that we can consume news and information, such as advertising. So, instead of just going from a unidirectional approach, I think from an advertising perspective, we're looking at bringing that together holistically to give something that's meaningful to the advertiser that's concurrently meaningful for their customer. So I'm excited about that. I think there's, readership is trending toward the mobile and digital space increasingly. It's very exciting to see all of the new opportunities that are available in that space. So I'm excited to see what we can do from an advertising perspective here.
Well, this is a great place to have you because we try and stay ahead of the curve, especially in the digital, the cell phone, the tablets, and everything else, as well as our website. So it's a great place to have you working on that. So in the new media that you just described to us, what customers will you mainly be focusing in on?
That's also a great question. I think there are several different categories or verticals of clients, all of which are important. One of the best things about being in this market and certainly being at this time in the market is that a lot of things are starting to turn around, right? So, you know, we're coming out of a lot of the housing slump that we've had. So people are able to invest again in homes, in cars, in what to fill their homes with, right? So all of those pieces, all of those separate verticals are very important. You know, if you look at research, healthcare and education are extremely important and are on the rebound kind of ahead of a lot of those other categories. So certainly those are important. I know especially here in this area, there's a booming industry there. So I think those are important and certainly verticals or categories on which we'd want to focus. But really there's no limit. You know, the interesting part about advertising and about being in this space is that, you know, there are opportunities across the board. It's just a matter of consulting and being able to have those open-ended conversations where you can collaborate with your advertisers and across your peers in order to put something together that's powerful and motivating and can really change the landscape of what our advertisers and what we are doing.
Well, it sounds like you're ready to come in here and step in and hit the ground running.
I'm very excited.
So we look forward to having you, and we appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about yourself, and we look forward to you starting here in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Tim. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Friday marked the end of a turbulent time for Brevard Public Schools as Gardendale Elementary School closed its doors for the final time. Gardendale and Merritt Island, a year-round school, was one of 3 schools shuttered at the end of this school year because of looming budget cuts. Southlake Elementary in Titusville and Clear Lake Middle School in Cocoa both closed 2 weeks ago at the end of the regular school year. In a string of finales, last week Gardendale held its final performance. We were on hand to watch the students in action one last time.
We're going to put on the production of Seussical Jr. by 4th and 5th grade students, and I hope everybody enjoys it because we worked really hard and I think we're really good.
I wonder what's under a hat such as that. It could be the creature they call a gazette.
We're at Gardendale Elementary Magnet School and it's currently up for foreclosure, and this means a lot to us because it's the last show we're ever going to do.
Now it's time to visit our entertainment cast. Summer is blockbuster movie time, so Susie Fleming Leonard and Pam Harbaugh are here to give you the lowdown on some upcoming movies and so much more. Ladies?
Hi, I'm Susie Fleming Leonard.
And I'm Pam Harbaugh.
And we're here to talk about what's going on the Space Coast. We've kind of hit the summer, I don't want to say doldrums because there's still some fun things happening.
I'll say doldrums.
Well, it's
doldrums.
There are fun things happening. There just aren't as many as
that's true.
So you don't have to miss out on. You can do everything this time of year. You can partake of all of the fun offerings.
That's true. You won't feel left out.
Exactly. One of the things that's going on this weekend is Juneteenth. Actually, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. Today's Sunday, right. So you have time to plan.
It's coming up.
That's right. Juneteenth. It's going to be June 15th. That's at Diamond Square Community across from Provost Park in Cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fun
some
little
great
celebration.
People running that. Doris McLaughlin, who's been a powerhouse in our community for years and years.
Yes, so that ought to be a lot of fun. Also, the Stars of Tomorrow at the Cocoa Village Playhouse. Great bunch of talented kids there.
Very much.
They really, I mean, they're not, it's not enough to have talented people, talented adults on stage, but they're looking to the future and raising the talented kids too.
Hence the Stars of Tomorrow.
Oh, boy. Anyway, they've got How to Succeed in Business without really trying.
You know, there's a Brevard connection to that. Rob Ashford directed Harry Potter Boy. I can't think of his name. Daniel Radcliffe. He directed Daniel Radcliffe in that on Broadway, and his parents live in Melbourne Village. Not Daniel Radcliffe, Rob Ashford's.
Okay,
director.
so anyway, this is the local connection to the one that we're talking about. Though is there's going to be a performance Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Cocoa Village Playhouse, and today is the Tonys. So.
And Rob Ashford directed the opening of tonight's Tonys. He directed that, he directed that across the pond.
There we come, full circle.
And because he told me, I'm directing Ken Branagh in Macbeth, and he actually said Macbeth and not the Scottish play, which I thought was really brave of him.
Another thing happening next weekend, it's going to be Friday through Sunday, is Pirate Con. Do you know anybody who is into pirate culture?
Yes.
And you're not going to elaborate. Well, Pirate Con is going to be going on at the International Palms Resort in Cocoa Beach, and like I said, that's going to be Friday through Sunday of next week. So if you're a wannabe pirate,
pirates love that.
Pirates. Nice. I also thought it would be nice to talk about some movies. A few movies opening. It is movie time right now.
Steel, yet another Superman.
Yes, that is going to be opening next weekend. I don't recognize the name of the guy who's
this
playing.
man named Henry Cavill plays young Superman in this. He's from Jersey.
Okay.
Jersey and the Channel Islands, as in Britain. That is.
But now I don't recognize his name, but I do recognize Amy Adams is going to be playing Lois Lane.
She's Lois Lane, and Michael Shannon. He's going to be in that. Russell Crowe is Jor-El.
That's what I saw that.
First Javert and now Jor-El.
And then Diane Lane is going to play Martha Kent. So
Kevin Costner is Superman's Earth father.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess I didn't look for it.
It'll be nice to see Mr. Costner again.
Another movie that's opening next weekend is The Bling Ring, and I think this looks like a lot of fun. We were talking about Harry Potter earlier. It's got the actress who played Hermione, Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
Yes, this
She's
is a
adorable.
movie directed by Sophia Copeland, and it's about all of these young girls who break into stars' houses and steal stuff. So
it should be good. The director she's got some great credit to her name as well.
So we will be back next week with some more interesting tidbits about what's happening in Brevard County, and we'll see how we can tie those two.
We will tie
Broadway
them together. We will be like a magician with a wand, tying everything together and making it having a Brevard connection.
Thanks for watching, and we'll send you back to the studio now.
Thanks, Pam, and thanks, Susie. And thank you for tuning in to the Florida Today Show. Be sure to come back next week for all the latest in news, space, entertainment, and so much more. I'm Tim Walters. I thank you for your viewership and dedication, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you.